Hello there, friends. So what I'm working on today is this Harley Davidson seat. Anyway, what I'm going to be showing you today is how to use this original seat cover, take it apart, and use it for patterns. And that's what we're going to do to make our new seat cover and install it. So I actually have three pieces I have to do. Got the front seat, back seat, and a backrest. But we're really just going to focus on this one because the other two is just kind of the same process. So I'm not going to repeat it three times. You know me, I don't like to bore you guys with that. And so we're going to focus on this one seat here and we'll get through that. And then you would know how to do those other two pieces. So here we go. The first thing I do is I take my white China marker and I use this to mark all the intersections wherever the seat panels intersect, which would be like this seam right here intersects right here, so I'll mark it. And what that's going to do is when I go to sew back the new patterns, the new panels, I'll know where to line it up, and it will always work for you every time it's tried. So mark all the intersections wherever everything intersects right here where the end of the pattern stops. Can't make a mistake that way. No guessing. Guess I got them all. Looks pretty good. And what I'll do is when there's a long area like this, what I do sometimes is I'll just put marks like this, which will also be lined up on the new panels when I go to sew it back together again. Just like that. Later when I take it apart, I'll find center, which I can also mark right here where my finger would be, the center of the seat. Just like that. And I got a pretty long area right here, so I think I'll just put a couple of these there. The other thing you can do is when you have the pieces laid out as patterns, you can fold this in half and then take these marks and transfer them over to the other side if you wanted them to be exactly opposite. And I guess if I remember, I'll do that. That way I can show you that method. I think I'll put one right here. So now to take the seams apart, I will show you two different methods of doing that. First one is the trusty old, what would this be, a box cutter that I took a grinder to. So I grind down that edge. You can see it's already ground down pretty good because I keep using this over and over again. So this is technique number 738, where I grind down the blade, and what it does is it makes a real rough serrated edge instead of a sharp razor blade edge. And what that does is you can actually, it starts to move through the thread. Or to speed things up a little bit, you can do technique number 483. So with technique number 483, sorry about that. 483, what you do is you just take the razor blade and you just cut it on that seam. So if you have a really sharp razor blade, I thought this was, it's brand new, it'll slice right through, right? It'll speed things up, make things a little bit faster. That's how you take it apart. So I'm going to go ahead and take this thing apart. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. And I'll be back in a little bit. Time for a little sarcasm. So sometimes with these seats, you're going to have a bunch of these pop rivets. So they all have to be drilled out. So what I usually take is a 1/8" drill bit and drill them out. You can see I don't have a real long depth on the drill bit here because we don't need one that's 2 inches long, right? Now I don't have to explain why, right? Okay, so just start drilling. And the top of the rivet comes off. Oh, that's hot. Caution, don't burn yourself. Now I'm going to let you in on technique number 274. Okay, so after you drill out the pop rivets, what I do is I take my white China marker again and I go from the hole and I draw these lines here. Just like that. So that way when you go to put your new cover on and you're wrapping it like this and the holes are covered, you know exactly where your holes are because you just marked them. Then what I do is I'll take my scratch awl, something like this, and I'll puncture it into the new material, and that's where the hole is. I know where the hole is. So you're saving yourself some time and some aggravation, and things go a lot more smoothly. This is what it looks like when I take a pattern apart. So I cut all the seams with a razor blade. And what I do is I don't take them completely apart. So this is technique number 49 because it's a low number because it's so important. What I do is I actually leave some pieces connected like that. So that way I know how they go back together again. And that way it's not putting a jigsaw puzzle together. It's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together that's already, somebody telling you where the piece belongs is what it is. So it really speeds things up. There's no guesswork, and it's a technique I've been using for a number of years.